And the light was shining on his head. Oh my God.
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast, stories of inspiration, where we talk about mental health, addiction, religion, becoming a business owner and self-sufficient, for what, when, where, and why. Join us and we can be your local hope dealer.
Inspiration and dedication. I came a long way from sleeping in them pages. I got my life back. I feel amazing. Life's a book, don't get stuck on sad pages. Rainy days with no money. Hard work leads to days that are sunny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned in to the prisoner to painter. Prisoner to painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner to painter.
And now, a word from your local hope dealer.
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast. I'm Nathan McDermott.
And I'm Katie McDermott.
And today joining us is John Wilson. How's it going?
Oh, doing great. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, man.
And good to meet you both.
Thank you for coming on. You're a ball. I didn't know what to expect, but you are. You bring some sunshine with you, man. You're a happy guy.
Sunshine on a cloudy day.
Yes, sir.
And even if we had that rain, that's just called liquid sunshine. All right.
Well, man, seriously, thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad that you want to come tell your story. I'm glad we were able to schedule this and get you on. Here we have some childhood where you are now. Just like everybody watching knows. So my first question, as always, is what was your family dynamic like, and where did you grow up?
Well, ironically speaking, my first 4 years of my lifetime was I grew up just a couple blocks from where we're at right now.
Awesome.
Same street. Same street. And great family dynamics.
Awesome.
A family of 6, mom, dad,
Okay.
2 brothers, 1 sister, and then myself.
Awesome.
My family, my immediate family, my 2 brothers, sister, and father were all born in Chicago.
Okay.
And my mother was in Detroit, born in Detroit. They met in college in Chicago, mom and dad did.
Okay.
Got married here in Jackson.
Mhm.
And then went back to Chicago, lived a few years, came back here. And again, that's how I ended up just down the street from you. They brought this little bundle of joy home from Mercy Hospital in 1958. What were you doing in 1958?
I wasn't even a thought.
My mom wasn't even a thought yet.
A
couple years.
I know, now it's all about grandparents. Yeah, I'll go to a sporting event and at my alma mater high school, and it used to be going to watch my nephews. I don't have any children. It used to be going to watch my nephews play football, basketball. And of course I knew the players because of my nephews and knew the parents. But now I'll go to a football game or basketball game at my alma mater high school. And all I know now pretty much are the grandparents. So just how it evolves.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. What's your favorite childhood memory? What's one thing that really stands out to you?
You know what? Speaking of down the street here, and I do not honestly recall any of my 4 years down the street, but I do remember when my parents moved to South Brown Street. And that's where I spent from age 4 through age 20.
Gotcha.
And then it was time for Johnny to get out of the house, of course, whether it was my choice or my parents' choice. But anyways, no, it was time. But anyways, unbelievable. Great childhood memories growing up there on South Brown Street. And South Brown Street is, for those who don't know, it's on the west side of the city of Jackson. And it's South Brown Street. On the east side of South Brown Street is city limit, or the city. Across the street, over to the west, and that's Summit Township. And of course, I grew up in the city limits, and born and raised in the city limits of Jackson. And I'm still living here on the west side.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite childhood memory? What's one thing that you don't like, I guess.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So growing up with two big brothers,
I see where
I
that's going,
got
John.
beat up. We had a swimming pool in our backyard, and big brothers would pick me up and throw me in and keep me underwater and all that kind of stuff. All was good though. No, I can't say that's my least or my least favorite childhood memory.
Yeah.
Least favorite childhood memory is probably, unfortunately, because of my age. I remember the assassinations of John F. Kennedy,
Okay.
Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy,
Yeah.
and those, even though I was just a young first grader, second grader in Queens School, just down the street here,
Yep.
we were sent home. That's one thing most of us in my generation can remember. JFK, we were sent home.
Yeah.
And I remember walking from Queens Elementary School. It was grades 1 through 6 at the time. Anyways, and again, I just lived 3 blocks away. So school was let out after this, at the assassination, at the point of assassination. And we walked home, bused home, or parents came and got us. I walked home. And I remember walking into my home, and mom and dad, 2 brothers and sister were all in our, what was called the sun parlor, our TV room, all watching that black and white television set and everything, that was going on with the assassination, of course. I remember that just like it was yesterday.
I'm glad you said that, because sometimes I feel like us younger people, not necessarily me and her, because we do think like this, but there is some big significant life events that have happened that you could ask your dad or your grandpa about, and they were alive to see it. Like, it wasn't that long ago. Like, presidents were being killed not that long ago. Like big public figures were being shot in the streets not that long ago. Like, it's been 50 years, not even. Like, it hasn't been that long.
That was 1963, JFK. And of course, I was 5 years old. And again, just walking home from Queens, and I was in the first grade.
Yeah.
But just walking home and knowing, we were let out of school early, but it wasn't a happy get out of school early.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, at that time, I didn't have the feelings knowing that, what just took place and why we were leaving. Although I did know, kind of, but it wasn't until I got home and mom and dad again, and 2 brothers and sister all watching the television set from me to you.
Gotcha.
And black and white television set, and everything as live as can be. At that time, they had NBC, CBS for the most part.
Yeah.
And but that was just it wasn't traumatic for myself, but traumatic for many other people.
Yeah.
Traumatic meaning more traumatic than it was for me. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just something that is ingrained,
Yeah.
just like those who were born maybe in the 90s, that generation, or the 80s. And what are they, if we hadn't had any assassinations.
We remember 9/11.
I remember-
But
We
you
were let out.
remember
Yep.
9/11.
I remember
Yeah.
Y2K. I remember 9/11.
Yes.
And I remember my senior year of high school, I came home and the Boston Marathon bombing had
Yeah.
happened. And it was all over the TV.
Right.
Mhm.
So whichever generation it may be, it's just what you went through.
Yeah.
With your generation, and that again, those events, and whereas 2 generations prior to that was my generation. And if we can break it down into generations, but yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you remember the moon landing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
I bet that was
Kind
so
of,
cool.
sorta, and it was really cool. And forgive me, but 1968 could have been.
Somewhere around there.
Right. And what's interesting is, and I'm sure you heard it all, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but we had 3 astronauts living in Jackson.
Yeah.
And one of the astronauts, James McDivitt, who I remember very, very well. And this was back when astronauts were heroes. They were heroes to us,
Yeah.
at least to me as a little boy, because the McDivitt family, they lived on South Brown Street also, just a block or so down from where I grew up. Of course, they lived on the other side in Summit Township.
Yeah.
And you pass by the house every day, not knowing that's where James McDivitt
A
lived.
damn astronaut.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyways, James, he wasn't on the Apollo when for the moon landing, but he flew in the Apollo program just prior to the moon landing.
Cool.
You know, getting ready for that moon landing. And so anyways, this is back when, you know, you had the rockets. Then of course they touch down in the ocean when they come back to Earth, and you have the Frogman out there, and they still have that. They just did last month with the landing of
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, whatever the hell he had going on.
But James McDivitt, going back to Mr. McDivitt, he again lived down the street, and he was a member of Queen's Church, where I'm a member of, baptized there, and had been a member, parishioner my whole life.
Awesome.
And so anyways, my dad asked me one time after a Sunday Mass. My dad was choir director for 25 years at Queen's. So anyways, he asked me after Mass one day, he goes, Johnny, little Johnny, would you like to meet Mr. McDivitt? And I said, well, yeah. So Mr. McDivitt, I remember, again, just like it was yesterday, outside of church, just outside the doors after Mass, and my dad introduced me to Mr. McDivitt. Of course, little Johnny was just little Johnny. Some say I'm still little Johnny. But anyways, little Johnny gets to meet his hero, astronaut McDivitt, Mr. McDivitt, Colonel McDivitt. And he was like a giant. He was like a giant, and he was a tall man. Yeah. Wow, how cool that was.
Yeah, I bet.
The first time I actually got to meet a hero.
Awesome. Who was the most influential person in your life growing up?
I would have to say my dad.
Okay, awesome.
My dad.
Awesome.
And my dad, although he engaged in our election process, he was not involved with politics per se. Okay. Like I am. And of course I knew my dad's political philosophy, and he carried it on to me. Awesome. I'm proud to say. Cool. But my dad, I would definitely have to say, was the most influential person in my life. And even though I wish I was more like my dad. My dad could play the piano. He was a pianist. Awesome. He graduated from the University or the Chicago Conservatory of Music there in Chicago. Believe it or not, his degree, piano. Wow. My mother graduated from the Chicago Conservatory of Music. And this was in the late 40s. Late 40s. And her degree was in music. Awesome. But my dad also went to DePaul University there in Chicago and studied. But that's where they met. But anyways, my dad, I wish he would have passed on that little bit of that talent. But no, Johnny, little Johnny cannot. I can sing, I can dance, but no, I cannot play the piano. And boy, I wish I could. He tried giving me lessons. I said, Johnny, get outside and play basketball, football, baseball.
My favorite question. What was your favorite cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Man, dude, so many people have said that. I'm going to say it to you again. Do you not like the roof of your mouth? Because that hurt.
That it did. It sure did, especially after you get done eating about a half a box until mother used to pull it away and say, enough. But anyways, Captain Crunch, definitely. And I haven't had Captain Crunch probably since my teenage years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now you evolved to oatmeal.
Yeah.
I don't know the berries, not the all berries.
How they start to add berries to it.
I didn't even try it.
It's so good.
Don't mess with my Captain Crunch.
I was just gonna say I didn't want to say that, but I'm like, I think in his time, like seriously, I'm like, they didn't have the berry shit. It was just Captain Crunch.
The peanut butter.
Yeah.
That's all I like.
So that was growing up, and I'm talking when I was, right through my teens, and now it's Life cereal or oatmeal.
Okay. Oatmeal's better than life.
You'll understand when you get to be my age.
Man, what was your first? Well, before I get there, what was high school like for you? Did you play sports? Did you have a normal high school experience?
I had a very normal high school experience. I played sports. I played football. Lumen Christi High School. Graduated from Lumen Christi High School.
Awesome.
Played football in my freshman year.
Cool.
And that was it for football. Played basketball up until 11th grade.
Awesome.
Until Johnny didn't get any taller. And those 5'9" guard, which I was in high school, playing basketball. Going back to junior high, I was a power forward at 5'9". But I stopped growing in 7th grade, I think it was. And so 5'9" guards, unless you were very, very exceptional, I wasn't with basketball, even though I'd like to think I was.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got further and further down the bench in basketball.
Gotcha.
And there it's time to bring on a junior or senior or junior in varsity basketball that, let them sit that bench and where they're going to more likely play in their senior year. Myself, I was told I was more likely to stay on the team, but Wilson, I'm not going to promise you much playing time.
Yeah.
End quote.
Yeah. Nice.
And that coach today, I still see every now and then.
Yeah.
I said, you should have kept me on there. You should have played me because we would have won that state championship in basketball.
I love that. Oh, man.
And it always brings a laugh to his face too.
What is one thing you miss from Jackson? I guess I didn't realize that you've lived here this long. What's one thing that's no longer a thing that used to be a thing that you miss?
Well, we can call it the good old days. It's all relative. You had the good old days.
Yep, exactly.
We all lived through today, but we think of the good old days. But anyways, what do I miss most about Jackson? Is Jackson being primarily a blue-collar, working person's city. And it no longer is. And everything that went with that. And I say working person, if you want to think about it, 60s and 70s into the 80s, working man. But, you don't say that today because it's a working person's world that we're in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Impressive.
What came with the 60s and 70s and even into the mid 80s, maybe before things started to unravel a bit with our industry, was good paying jobs.
Yeah.
And those good paying jobs, those men mostly who did work those good paying jobs, lived in the city, lived on the south side, lived on the east side, north side, west side. They made up the city of Jackson. And then you think of the economics behind all of that. You had a very thriving downtown. And you've heard the stories, you've seen the pictures, whether they're black and white or in color, of the department stores, the stores that used to be downtown.
Yeah. Dude, me and Rick Lemaster, sorry to interject real quick. We just started hanging out here or there, and he took me to his bar he's opening up, and he got a picture of downtown where it was closed off in the middle. I didn't know it used to be closed off. It was like a giant mall. It was like you pulled up this side, you pulled up this side, you couldn't pull through.
Like a plaza.
Yeah, that was so cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
That was maybe cool, but Nate, Katie, that some say that was the demise, the beginning of the demise of downtown Jackson.
No kidding.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they cut off traffic.
You had to go all
from
the way
Michigan Avenue.
I see. Okay.
And that traffic prior to the mall, they called it Progress Place Mall. So when you hear the word progress, sometimes progress isn't always good. But anyways, I do remember that very well.
Awesome.
Yeah, we used to go down there, hang out, and sit along the benches and so forth, in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Separating, north side from the south side of the, the stores. But they do. They say some say,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to say whether it's, actual or not, but
Yeah.
some do say that was the beginning of the demise of downtown
No
Jackson.
kidding.
You
Okay.
had Jacobson's, you had Fields, you had a very, very, big, prominent department stores.
Mhm.
I could go downtown and buy a shirt, buy some pants, you can still go buy shoes,
Mhm.
but you can't.
Yeah, but you can't get shirts or pants.
No, you cannot.
And the clothing stores that were down there, the one that I went into that I believe it was the Blake building, the one at the very bottom.
Yeah, it's not meant for everyday people. It's
they're
nice.
gone
It's nice.
anyways.
It's nice, but it wasn't meant
I don't
for.
remember what it was called.
It wasn't wallet friendly. It was.
A pair of socks was like $27.
Yeah, and you still have a few of those types of shops downtown.
Mhm.
And maybe we can get to this in a little bit,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, those stores aren't doing all that well right now, and you see them close up prior, but unfortunately, they're not doing so well. And so what we have now, growing up, and you mentioned the mall downtown was, then they took that out.
Mhm.
They figured that was a big mistake.
Mhm.
So they took it out, and then you had the downtown. And what was the original question?
I
What do I-
oh yeah, what do you miss?
Yeah, what do I miss?
Yep, sorry.
And I miss a thriving downtown
Gotcha.
that not only just has bars and restaurants, but also shopping. Now, as a realist and someone who studies demographics or has studied and still continues to study and read on demographics, it's highly improbable that we'll ever experience again major department stores downtown.
Mhm.
We do have our entertainment areas, like the LeMasters. Thank goodness for Rick LeMaster.
Yeah, I think it's
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but anyways, and they're fun. I don't frequent downtown as much as I used to,
I don't either.
but I still do every now and then, and I'll have a couple beers for
Mhm.
sure, and enjoy the downtown.
Yeah.
But again, I can't go down there and buy a pair of pants
Mhm.
or a shirt.
I do enjoy the Luna Lux and how they added like a different type of lounge area.
Different
and
type
that
of vibe to
it's
it.
a different vibe. It reminds me of like a modern jazzy speakeasy Detroit.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Different vibe.
And you know what, Katie? And that's the phrase they use now, the vibe.
Mhm.
And downtown has always had a vibe,
Yep.
even
Yeah.
in its most dire state. And some say, and you'll hear this always being thrown out there, you could throw a bowling ball down the middle of the street
Yeah,
and not hit
I've
anything.
literally heard that.
I
Yeah.
even heard one local media personality say on his local TV show that tumbleweeds. Well, first of all, I've never seen a tumbleweed in downtown Jackson, and I've always enjoyed downtown Jackson. Again, I'm a few decades older than both of you,
Mhm.
and I used to go downtown, even, there were some great places to go to for entertainment and vibe.
Mhm.
And you could back then, and these were all live bands, 4-piece, 5-piece bands that would play downtown. And I'll throw it out there, you had the Bella Notte,
Yeah.
Mhm.
fun place.
It used to be.
Daryl's,
Mhm.
which is now Oak and Iron, and before that, it's been a
It
couple
was
other.
Daryl's 151
Veritas.
and then the Oak.
Yeah. So, anyways, but Bella Notte, Daryl's, of course, you've heard of the Sheridan Inn that used to be down there.
Well, Dr. Don's, that's probably
Dr. Don's.
It's the back door.
Hey, but really,
But before Dr. Don's, it was, I believe, called the Blues Emporium. And you were talking about vibe and what Luna Lux has now.
Mhm.
Oh, they used to have some great entertainment at the
Mhm.
Blues Emporium.
Right.
And they had great entertainment at Bella Notte, and they still do every now and then. And Daryl's, the Sheridan Inn, and those who may be viewing and listening that are from my era, they know and they would agree. Then you had the Big Apple, and this is all right downtown,
Okay.
all right downtown, and you could walk from one to the other, and which I did many times on a Friday or Saturday night. And but anyways, so it's always been there.
Yeah.
And it is today still. It's just a different type of vibe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So moving into where was I? School. So who was your most influential teacher, and what was your first job?
My most influential teacher, you know what? I'm going to go back to Queens, and she was always just so very nice to me because I wasn't always the best student academically or behaved. But anyways, Mrs. Rose at Queens, and she was very influential because she, you know, just most teachers are, they can be.
Yep, I
But for
agree.
some reason, I've always thought of Mrs. Rose,
Awesome.
and I still do today. Of course, she's long gone, but she was a beautiful woman and a beautiful teacher.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that was at Queens, and this is back when they had nuns.
Yeah.
And I've had, you know, when I started grade school, we had nuns, and they were dressed in their habits and so forth.
Were they actually mean and like slap your knuckles with rulers and stuff? Was that a real thing?
Well, I never actually saw it, but I did see some nuns at times get a little physical.
I'd love to see
I got
that.
put in the closet in the classroom by a nun. She just said, "Mr. Wilson, you just get in this closet and I'll let you out when it's time."
Die.
I got put in a closet. Now, I didn't get slapped with a ruler or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I did get put in a closet for a while. Anyways, yes, it's pretty cool, really, with the teachers, and you know what? I'm gonna jump forward a little bit.
Mhm.
I substitute teach today.
Awesome.
I at JPS, Jackson Public Schools, mostly for Jackson High School,
Cool.
and I started 3 years ago. I'm retired, and so I just do this. I call it part time. Okay, a couple hours here, a couple hours there,
Mhm.
a couple times a week maybe, and I can pick and choose, and that's just how the substitute teaching works. But anyways, I have found a whole new respect for teachers,
Mhm.
and never thought of it much
Yeah.
really until I started subbing, and not just teachers, but everybody who works within the school system, whether it's, you know, you walk in and there's the school receptionist, or those who work food service, those who drive a bus,
Mhm.
all of them.
How does none of our questions have an agenda. I want to repeat that, but I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to ask. How does being a substitute teacher for JPS, how has that impacted you running for mayor with wasn't Derek that of GPS or JPS? How was it being like
Oh.
The board.
Yeah.
Derek Dovies is currently on the Jackson Public School
Okay.
Board.
Yeah. So
As
both
a
of you are
trustee.
running for mayor, and then
Yes.
you're a substitute teacher that works for JPS. He's on the board. Has there ever been a conflict because
Oh,
of
no.
okay. Understood.
Derek probably doesn't even know that I'm a substitute teacher.
Oh, okay. Understood.
But
Understood.
and as a substitute teacher, I'm not involved with the day-to-day operations
Okay.
like any of the full-time teachers are.
Gotcha.
I just go in again for a couple hours to substitute for a teacher who may have to go to a funeral or go have their teeth cleaned, whatever, or to a meeting. And again, I don't do half days, I don't do full days, I just do a couple hours at a time.
Right on. No, that's super cool, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's great to interact with the students.
Yeah.
That is what I enjoy most.
well, and we need people that care and that are opinionated and that are willing to teach the next generation. And I say opinionated because somebody that'll just roll over for everything is not somebody I would want teaching my kids.
Mm.
You know, I want somebody that has at least can put both feet down. So this is how I feel.
Right.
What was your first job?
My first job where I actually got a paycheck was as a paper boy for Jackson Citizen Patriot.
No kidding.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, I had a paper route when I was, I can't tell you, maybe 13, 14.
Okay.
And then from there, my second job, collecting the paycheck, started paying Social Security,
Mhm.
was at Brown Hut Restaurant.
Okay.
Now, the Brown Hut Restaurant was located directly across from Westwood Mall on West Michigan Avenue,
Okay.
where McDonald's is at right now.
No kidding.
Yeah, they used to be a very, very nice restaurant that my parents patronized quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you a quick story on
Yeah.
how I got hired at the Brown Hut. They had what they called the peanut room
Okay.
and the bar area. And again, my dad liked the Brown Hut. And so anyways, he took me there. It was a Saturday afternoon, I remember. And middle of the summer, beginning of the summer. I'm not sure. I just know I was not in school. So my dad says, Johnny, you want to go have a hamburger at the Brown Hut? I said, heck yes, because they had great hamburgers. So anyways, I went with my dad, and out walks. It was ground level, then a couple steps leading into the kitchen. Then you had the bar area. So out walks from the kitchen area the owner of the Brown Hut, Mr. Petroff, Nick Petroff. And Nick knew my dad. And Nick says there was only a few of us in the peanut room at the time, and Johnny eating his hamburger, having his pop, my dad probably having a drink. But anyways, Nick walks out and says, well, hello, Richard. That was my dad's first name. And my dad says, well, hello there, Nick. And so anyways, Nick says, well, who do you have with you, Richard? He goes, oh, this is my son, Johnny. Johnny, this is Mr. Petroff. Mr. Petroff owns the Brown Hut. Mr. Petroff looked at my dad and said, Richard, looks like Johnny needs something to do.
Oh,
and my dad says, he sure does. You got something for him to do? I said,
That's awesome.
yeah. So up I went the couple steps right into the kitchen area and right to the dish tank.
No kidding.
Yep. Started out as a dishwasher at the Brown Hut. Then I was promoted to busboy a few months later.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I worked there for a few years, and that was where I started paying Social Security.
Right on.
And I've been paying Social Security since. And that was at age 15.
That's awesome.
15, yeah. 15, because I wasn't driving yet. Because I remember riding my bike there to work.
I think that got lost in the sands of time, that type of getting hired almost. I've had similar experiences, not like exactly like that, but getting hired on the spot, working that day. Like, it doesn't seem to happen as much
No,
nowadays.
it's amazing. A lot of places don't even have paper applications anymore.
they
No,
sure don't.
online. Every time I've gotten to talk face to face with a person, I've gotten the job. If I have to fill it out online, I'm probably not going to get the job. Like, I got this working for me. I can talk on paper. You might not want to hire me, But man, that's great. So what did you do for a career, or did you bounce around? And I guess.
No, at age 20. 25, I was hired in with the Michigan Department of Corrections
Okay.
as a corrections officer,
Awesome.
and went to work at a newly opened prison in Coldwater.
Yep.
Coldwater, Michigan.
We know right where you're at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was the Florence Crane Correctional Facility.
Yeah. My aunt lives right down the road, actually.
Does
So
she?
yes,
Okay.
she does. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
she's like right by the Capri, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Capri, quite famous.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Yeah.
I was hired in as a corrections officer, and still living in Jackson,
That's a hike.
taking some classes at JC.
Mhm.
And I was a long time college student. So anyways, probably 12 years.
Hey, we're okay.
And you still can't call me doctor.
Oh, shit.
But so hired in with the Michigan Department of Corrections in 1985 and had a very fortunate, and I was just so fortunate to be employed by, at that time, a good state agency. And so started out as a corrections officer, went from JC, got my degree there, and of course it was called JCC then, Jackson Community College,
Yeah.
which is now Jackson College. But anyways, went from there to Western Michigan and
Cool.
obtained a bachelor degree in political science with emphasis in economics. And then from there, I was now eligible for other positions within the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
So I went to the other positions that I was eligible for, and that's why I was taking those classes, and that's why I finally graduated at age 35 from Western Michigan University.
Cool.
So anyways, had a good few decades with the
Okay.
Michigan Department
Awesome.
of Corrections.
Awesome, man.
And I worked 26 of the 28 years in Coldwater.
Okay.
Again, corrections officer. Did some counseling for a while,
Okay.
and recreation director. And
Good.
at this time, we had 3 prisons: Florence Crane Correctional Facility, Lakeland Correctional Facility and Camp Branch. Now, Camp Branch was minimum camp, minimum security. Lakeland Correctional Facility, medium security, and Florence Crane Correctional Facility, medium light.
Okay.
And so, anyways, call it levels 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Okay, 1 being minimum, 3 being medium.
Yep.
So, anyways, we had 3 prisons, all men at the time, and I started my recreation director's position.
Cool.
So at one time, I was working all 3 of the facilities.
Awesome.
Until, not so awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, fair.
I had to go to the warden and say, "Warden," I said, "I am running all over the place, and there was a lot to do as recreation director." And so they took me down to 2 of the 3 prisons.
Gotcha.
And eventually 2 of those 3 prisons closed. Now we just have Lakeland Correctional Facility, where Camp Branch and Florence Crane closed back in the 2008 or so. But anyways, I came to Jackson and worked just under 2 years in security classification.
Okay.
And that was at the RGC, Reception Guidance Center. And security classification, when you go to, when a judge throws down the gavel and gives that felon 10 to 20, well, that felon, and I say felon because they're not incarcerated yet with the Michigan Department of Corrections, so they're not a prisoner, they're not an inmate, but they are a felon who was sentenced to Michigan Department of Corrections. So they go to Reception Guidance Center for close to 30 days, maybe a little longer. So anyways, security classification is one of the processes that the inmate, an inmate goes through. And security classification is the last of the processes, meaning when they come see the security classification, such as myself, I'm sitting at a desk just like we are right here. And prior to seeing that inmate, I've already reviewed the file from page 1 to the last page and everything in between. And some of those files could be that
I
thick,
can imagine, dude. Oh.
and some could be that thick.
Yeah.
But those that were that thick, no, you didn't have to go through everything.
Yeah. Well, you could probably judge somewhat on if it's that thick. Okay. Maybe.
You shouldn't judge a book by its
Well,
length.
no,
No,
but I
there you
get
go,
that. But come on. if
No,
it's
there
that
was
thick,
there were
like-
certain
Parameters.
parts,
Yeah.
parts of that file that we had to focus on. But anyways, to determine that security level. So anyways, I would give the inmate their security level,
Right.
but I didn't give that inmate what facility they were going to.
So-
That was up
So you were in quarantine then. You were part of the quarantine.
Yes.
So was that still cell block 7 when you were there?
Oh my goodness. Well, no, but it is that. Yeah,
Okay.
I've never experienced cell blocks until I got to Jackson.
Gotcha.
Working RGC in security classification. Coldwater, they were all cubicles.
Yeah.
Again, 3 levels, 1, 2, 3,
Mhm.
and that's determined on your behavior while you're incarcerated. And
Yep.
so the better you behave,
Yep.
you're going to be able to get to at least level 2.
Yep.
Even if you're in there for murder.
Mhm.
Did you get any amount of cases that ended up needing max?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like quite a few.
quite a few.
Okay.
Sure. Quite a few. And usually those inmates were with an officer.
Okay.
Yes, as I interviewed that
Mhm.
inmate.
Where did you get your sense of service from? Because from what I just heard from your story, you've been in the service field for your whole life. Where did you get your? I mean, because even working for a prison is still a sense of service, in my
It's
opinion.
technically
I mean,
essential
there's-
work.
Well, while you're
it's-
serving your
it's
country,
public service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So where did you get your sense of service from, or do you think?
Well, when I hired in with the Department of Corrections,
Mhm.
I knew, at that time that, I'm eligible to be hired in as a corrections officer,
Mhm.
and that was a great job, every bit of it. And there were some tough times, but
Mhm.
just like there is for any, profession.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know exactly how that sense of service,
Mhm.
came over me.
Gotcha.
But one regret that I think that we were going to maybe touch on
Mhm.
some regrets or something,
Yeah.
or going
Mhm.
back.
Yep.
Well, I can do that right now.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of public service, I have two regrets in my life.
Okay.
If I could turn that clock back.
Mhm.
And one of the two regrets is that I didn't serve my country. And if I could turn that clock back right now,
Mhm.
I would have. And when I was contemplating it, we weren't in any war.
Mhm.
We had peacetime. Jimmy Carter was president.
Right on.
And so I did think about it,
Uh-huh.
but just didn't follow through with it.
Mhm.
And again, if I could, turn that clock back, that one regret I would change.
Understood.
You had to serve, whether it would have been for 4 years or for a career.
Mhm.
And every veteran or current service member that I run into,
Mhm.
and I'm sure the same for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that certain element that they have to them.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I respect him just a little bit more than most people. That's just, I don't know. My family served too. So that, I got a little bit of that bias in me that they're, a little better. But,
Yeah. Well, see, and again, my two brothers, none of us served.
Okay.
None
Gotcha.
of us served. My dad was World War II vet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And signed up for what they called back then was the GI Bill. It wasn't called the GI Bill, but after he was through, he didn't serve combat in WW2.
Okay.
But anyways, they had a program, and I should know what it is, but I can't. But anyways, it allowed him, if he stayed in the reserves,
Mhm.
to get under like a GI type bill, and where he could attend college. And again, that's where he did in Chicago.
Awesome. So incredible story so far. I did want to say two things. Richard Douglas, old friend of mine, said I would rather have John Wilson than Dobies. Another friend said people can't afford to go out anymore. I would love to see more people around downtown. How does he feel? I'm not going to go. How do you? I'm not going to go too into it because there's no agenda. So how do you feel about corporate-owned prisons in the country?
Like private sector.
Private sector.
Private sector? Well, that was, they were up and coming when I was employed with the Michigan Department of Corrections. And we even had a couple here in the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they themselves, I mean, yeah, you could buy stock in them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the name of the biggie, but what do I think about them?
Mhm.
I'm fine with them.
I agree.
I'm fine with them.
I try to keep my opinion watered down, but
yes, they can, they're running efficiently
Yeah.
and effectively.
Yep.
And if it can be a cost savings to the taxpayer, at the same time with those private prisons following the rules, the constitutional rights of the inmates, then I'm all for it.
Man, you have shocked me a couple times today. I don't know what I was going to expect. There are a couple of things he stopped. He said men and women. This has just been surprising to me. I'm very happy I got to do this, John, with you. If there's one day you could go back to in history, one day, anytime in history, to go back, you cannot change anything, just to observe. What day would that be?
Just to observe?
Yep.
Just to observe.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty wide open there, and I would have to probably, I'm going to pick something happy, of course, a happy time, and living in the proximate area within a few blocks from where I grew up. And I pass my childhood home on a daily basis. And of course, I'm looking at it and thinking about all the great, great, great times. Even getting beat up by my two big brothers. But anyways, I can beat them up now, both together. So anyways, if I could turn back and just be there, it would be for 1 to 2 times. My mother and father's, and I remember it just like, again, it was yesterday, one of their wedding anniversary parties. or my dad's 50th surprise birthday party,
Awesome.
both in the summer.
Mhm.
Well, my mom and dad were married in May, beginning of May, but my dad's birthday was in July.
Mhm.
And I think about all those kind of times, those good times, and
Mhm.
there were some not so good times,
Mhm.
Yeah. Of course, that's life. But yeah, just going,
Okay.
just passing by my childhood home where I grew up, raised. I just think of those things all the time.
Yeah.
And those are two that I think of the most.
Awesome.
Now I'm going to quickly go back to my mom and dad's, one of their anniversary
Mhm.
parties. It was a surprise, and that was held at one of their very good friends, friends of the family, at their home on South Durand Street,
Okay.
which is just a block from where I live.
Yeah.
And I'll pass by that house, and I'll leave the names out. But anyways, I passed by that home
Uh-huh.
where this family grew up, good family friends, of course. We all grew up together. Of course, their kids went to Parkside. We went to Christie. But mom and dad's were tight.
Awesome.
And but anyways, the surprise anniversary party that they threw for my mom and dad. And I remember walking over to it from my house on Brown Street, and all the people all dressed up, and just they knew how to have a good time. Yeah.
Awesome. If you could have, and then we'll get to what you're doing now. If you could have dinner with one person from history, anybody, dead or alive, Martin Luther King, your dad, anybody in history, who would you have dinner with and
And
why?
what are you having?
Oh,
Sorry.
you're fine, Katie.
You're good.
That lovely time of year. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I would like to sit down with Ronald Reagan
Awesome.
and have dinner.
Heck yeah.
What are you eating?
Yep.
What
are
is
you
for
ordering?
dinner?
Yep.
I would be happy with a hamburger,
Okay.
Awesome.
cheeseburger.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we would call it, if I'm having dinner with Ronald Reagan, cheeseburger in paradise.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well done.
Nope. Oh, no, medium.
Oh, geez. Okay. Oh, geez, John.
He eats steak well done.
Yeah. I'll
know.
eat anything well done.
He wants the table to jiggle while he's
Yeah.
sawing. Like,
I do the table shaking.
That requires a lot of A1 sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the salt and pepper is good for me.
Yeah.
But yes, that would certainly be beyond cool.
Awesome.
And, he is one of the first presidents that I voted for, and both times. And I like Ronald Reagan.
Yes,
I
sir.
liked him very, very much. Admired him,
Mhm.
and you can still remember the day he passed away, and it was very sad.
I know a lot of people that like him because of his extraordinary Hollywood stuff. Like he
Yeah,
was in
he's an actor.
Hollywood. He was like he embodied what America was. Like that is like he. I mean that's what it was. Yeah.
What
Wow.
does leadership look like and mean to you?
Leadership,
Mm-hmm.
to me, let's start right here at the local level.
Mhm.
And I'm going to throw out the mayor.
Mhm.
The mayor of Jackson, not our current mayor, not our previous mayor,
Just the
not the
general.
future mayor,
Yeah.
but the mayor.
Okay.
They are the face of the city.
Yep.
And being the face of the city, even though they're just one vote out of 7 on that
Mhm.
city council, but the mayor, weak mayor system as we have,
Yep.
the mayor is the face of the city, and I believe the most important role of the mayor is being the face of the city
Mhm.
and always exerting as much as possible, even if things aren't always great, the positive, the eternal hope, whatever you may want to call it. Myself, I'm an eternal optimist.
Mhm.
But that is so important at the local level. And I believe leadership should always, first and foremost, include that being the mayor. And this is the city of Jackson. Just again, being born and raised in the city of Jackson, I know the mayor's role
Mhm.
very well. And I've seen mayors come and go
Mhm.
that don't always exert the positive enough. And again, you can't always exert the positive because there's not everything is positive, including today. One thing that I do give Mayor Mahoney credit for is he can, and he has, for the most part, through his tenure, his 2 terms, he's done very well with that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember a mayor prior to that being or doing that. What I again feel is so important to exert as a leadership role. And whether you agree with our current mayor or not, that's one thing he can do.
Yeah.
And I always
does.
And I have no disrespect to the mayor. In fact, this is what I consider being respectful. Mayor Mahoney right now has the bully pulpit up there running that city council meeting.
Yep.
Mayor Mahoney would make a good preacher.
I agree.
He would make a good preacher.
Yeah, he would. He would.
I've listened to him speak.
Yeah. He's a good talker. He's a good
these last
speaker.
4 years.
Yeah.
And again, I haven't agreed with his policies, but he is a good speaker.
He is.
And he speaks from the heart.
Yeah.
He speaks from the heart. There's no gray area.
No, there's not. No, you feel the emotion when
Yes.
you for sure.
You do. And I think that is so vitally important. Myself, if elected as Jackson's next mayor, I hope to portray the same.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I'm not as charismatic, possibly, as Mahoney is. He's charismatic. But, again, I look back at his last 5 years, and that's one thing. And he probably grew into the position, and he did.
Oh, I'm sure.
He grew into that. And but his last few months here, and I listen to him weekly on the radio. I watch or attend city council meetings, and yes, he does a very good job with his communication skills.
Don't discredit yourself, man, because you got out of your truck and your smile, buddy. You are charismatic too. You are. Dude, you brought a smile out and got like.
Well, sure, when you pull up in front of your house and you're out there on your front porch there, and you see me pull up in my 1998 Ford Ranger, heck yes.
Hey, it is a nice looking truck still, dude. That is a nice.
That's my workhorse.
Oh man,
my workhorse.
Awesome. One question I've gotten to ask every candidate. I got my head chewed off the first time I asked it, and I'm just keep on asking it. What's your? And it's not. There's no agenda behind this because I've gotten it. Well, there's none. Anyways, what's your take on gun violence? What is gonna fix gun violence in Jackson?
Running for mayor this time, just as I did in 2021 and 2023, gun violence is at the top of my priority.
I noticed on Facebook we speak about it a lot.
Lots of issues on my Facebook post pertaining to our unfortunate violence that we have with guns. And this gun violence that I, for the most part, focus on is from the street gangs.
Okay.
Very, very serious issue here in our city and our surrounding areas.
Yeah.
But the origins of it, for the most part, are right here in our city.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying origins meaning all the gangs are right here from Jackson, because they're not. They're not. The gang activity, although these gangs who are trafficking their illegal guns and their drugs, they're not trafficking those illegal guns and drugs to you or I, or to our neighbors that we know of. And but the fact remains, the violence is taking place on our streets.
Yes.
And it's growing. It hasn't been reduced.
Yeah.
Now we're told that gun violence, regard whatever statistic you want to believe, is down. But I know for a fact that street gang gun violence is not. It's only getting worse. And again, I ran on this issue in 21 and 23 against Mayor Mahoney. And the first thing that I was hoping that Daniel Mahoney would do as mayor would be to admit that we have a gang problem here in the city. He won't, and he hasn't yet. In fact, and he knows it. I've been in front of city council. I've been on the radio with it. He would not even utter the word gang. He called them groups. These aren't groups.
Yeah.
These are not groups, and they're not just Southside groups. And that's what he called them back in 2021 when we were involved with the forum. He called them Southside groups. And no, these gangs, yeah, there are some in Jackson, and they're not just youth.
No,
they go from youth right up into their 30s, and they're not just Jackson. Again, they come from everywhere else outside of Jackson to come in here, secure their turf, to traffic their illegal guns and drugs. And by securing turf, that is what causes the violence in the streets, the street shootings. Again, they're not targeting you or I. They're targeting each other. And thankfully, for the most part, they're bad shots, because otherwise there would be a whole lot more blood spilled on our streets. And that blood would not, thankfully, is not blood from an innocent bystander. We're just lucky so far.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yep.
Because just last month there was some shootings taking place down on Wall Street, just off of MLK Drive, and one of the bullets went through a bedroom window and just grazed. I talked to the person's grandpa, just grazed that individual's, and he was a grown adult, this guy, and he was sleeping in the middle of the day, and but he doesn't matter. He was in his bedroom, and that bullet that came from one of those, those gang members shooting off their illegal weapons, because I highly doubt they're legal. But anyways, went through that bedroom window and grazed, just thankfully grazed that person. The grandpa said if he was sleeping in another position, it probably would have, he wouldn't be here today. But that's just one example. And again, thankfully, there hasn't been anybody seriously hurt or killed as a result of a stray bullet coming from a gang member's illegal weapon.
John, this has been great. We are getting close to the end. I would love to do this again. I don't feel like I even tapped the surface of your story. I don't feel like I even scraped it. But right now is a wrap-up question. So now I give the time, whatever you want to talk about. So is there anything I missed? Is there anything you want to share? Is there anything you want to, just talk about?
Sure. The, going back to the gang violence, the gun issue. Again, I have 3 agenda items that I primarily am focusing on for this primary election.
Yes, sir.
And into the general. And those are, again, street gang gun violence, neighborhood street conditions, which are, for the most part, some deplorable.
Have you seen our road?
Yeah, I was about to say, you drove down our road. You did it.
If you go that way, it's a little worse. It's not that bad over this way, but like that one street to West Ave.
And these aren't even close to the worst.
No,
in the city.
No, they're not.
And these are neighborhood streets, local streets.
Yes.
Okay. And downtown parking. We need to bring back free downtown parking. When I say downtown now, I was invited to speak with a local business owner in the downtown. And she invited me in to discuss parking and the homeless issue.
Gotcha.
And she has had a decrease in foot traffic into her store. Now, can you attribute that to the new downtown parking policy or the homeless? We can't say for sure.
So probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, for sure.
Yeah.
And she's adamant that the free parking itself, taking away free parking and now paid parking, has had a negative effect on her business.
Yeah.
and with foot traffic, because she mentioned, and we've heard it before, maybe you've heard it from the masters. These people, they'll come down to have lunch Monday through Friday at 1:00 in the afternoon. They go into Chase, Dirty Bird, Bellanote, Oak and Iron, and have a nice lunch. And the lunch is an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, maybe, if they're having a good time and relaxing, as they should be able to do so without looking at their watch and saying, I only got 15 more minutes before my 2 hours is up. So they get in their car and leave.
Rather than can't come back.
Rather than walk around downtown and go maybe do some shopping. And that has to change. It should have changed already. And I will propose to City Council, as Jackson's next mayor, that we go back to free parking. The DDA, Downtown Development Authority, can easily afford free downtown parking. The City Council, why they tasked this Jackson County Chamber of Commerce and the DDA to come up with this new plan. First, it was metered parking. Then all hell broke loose with that, of course. So then they tasked the chamber and the DDA to come up with something else. So what they come up with is what we have today. It's got to be scrapped, gone, bye-bye. Bring back free parking. Okay, Wilson, how are you going to fix neighborhood streets? Without assessing the homeowners thousands and thousands of dollars, which is taking place today, and which has been taking place for the last 10, 15 years. No, you and I, if they come out and fix your street, you should not be assessed a dime. It's not your fault that street is in the condition it is. It's City Hall's fault because of they haven't made our neighborhood streets a priority as they should have. So rather than making it a priority, they spend elsewhere on what I call non-essential spending. Your street is essential. And both of you should not be assessed thousands of dollars to have your street made drivable. And same with any other homeowner, property owner in the city who has to put up with the conditions of some of these neighborhood streets. So how do you pay for it? Okay, Wilson, easier said than done. City Council, if mayor, I would propose that City Council task our city manager to take out general obligation bonds, GO bonds. Now, general obligation bond, take out $10, $15 million general obligation bond. Only to be spent on neighborhood streets to mill and pave, not total street reconstruction. Mill and pave.
Make them decent.
Go down 6 inches or so from that pavement out here and pave it over.
Drivable.
Make it drivable. That can last 10 years.
Okay, I can.
And you know what? That general obligation bond can be paid for without assessing you a dime. Instead, City Hall has plenty of money. $38.6 million general fund budget that'll be voted on this next Tuesday night by City Council. You know how much money that $38.6 million is being spent on local neighborhood streets? $72,000.
I was going to say, I do because of you. I know only because of you.
Oh my goodness. I'll address that Tuesday night in public comment, but that's ridiculous, of course. And, but street gangs, Wilson, what are you going to do? Well, right now our City Council, these last few years has poured money into what they call Group Violence Intervention Program. You've heard of it. GVI. GVI is an appeasement policy where punishment isn't first and foremost, rather appeasement through policies such as counseling, such as social services, anything but punishment. That's got to change. Scrap that GVI program that's costing the city, initially cost $1.5 million. Scrap it and instead use that money for law enforcement, boots on the ground, and to punish these individuals responsible for these street gang shootings. And that means youth right on up through their 30s. Now, what are you going to do with a 14-year-old that's out, firing their weapon? Anytime they fire that weapon from a car, or just on the
Yeah,
streets,
yeah.
period, that's a felony.
Yep.
And any discharge of a firearm. So that youth, we have juvenile detention for them.
we do.
And for anyone 18 and over, or 17 and over, or 18 and over, however they want to charge them, if they're found guilty, you get them off the streets with an arrest, a charge, conviction, and jail.
Mhm.
And for those more serious than a gun violation, discharging your weapon,
Mhm.
if that involves bullets to body, then we have the Michigan Department of Corrections for them.
John, this cracks me up because I see people comment on your stuff. Well, John says all this stuff, but he don't know how to back it. You just backed everything with a legit plan. So I can get behind you even more now. Secondly, yes, because like me being a drug addict, maybe I needed counseling or a little bit of help. When you have the itch for violence, it is different. It's different. That's like telling me that you can teach a molester not to molest. You can't. And violence is like, I get it within reason. You can help counsel. I get that. But like, if you're going around shooting people, it is very difficult to teach you not to be like that. Like that, you need a punishment. You need a punishment.
Yes. And again, going back to 28 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections,
Mhm.
I'm all for rehabilitation. I'm all for second, third chances
Yes, sir.
for an individual,
Mhm.
whatever their crime may be.
Mhm.
And if they're released,
Yeah.
from incarceration,
Yeah.
give that person a second chance.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. A third chance. But I firmly believe that the rehabilitation starts when they're out of society.
Well, and held accountable.
incarcerated,
Yeah, and held
being held
accountable.
accountable
Yes,
for their previous
Mhm.
actions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, one thing I did want to touch on before I ask my wrap-up questions, actually, because I was telling her about it, and I don't know how she's going to feel about it. Me and her kind of differ political-wise. But about the homeless problem, I really enjoyed what your idea was. You said, why don't we use that old prison and put that was just, it's a unique idea. I know it might not be perfect just thinking of it, but I think that's a very unique idea. You didn't say, just get them the fuck out of here. You said, no, we can help fix the problem. Sorry, it's going to cost us some money, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with paying a couple bucks if that is the solution. Like, I just thought that was very unique.
Well, thank you. And again, we all have empathy, compassion for the homeless,
Mhm.
whatever their issue is.
Yep.
But let's take the issues, okay? Some of those homeless out on the streets.
Mhm.
Some of them have mental and physical disabilities that they were born with.
Mhm.
Not a mental disability that was caused by excessive hard drug use,
Exactly.
which put them on the streets.
Mhm.
I have all the empathy in the world, again, for those who are mentally and physically handicapped, challenged
Mhm.
by no fault of their own.
Mhm.
They are first and foremost
Yes, sir.
our most vulnerable citizens that need to be taken care of,
Yes, sir.
especially those who are homeless.
Mhm.
And then you have those, again, who are homeless because, well, they, didn't know when to stop putting that needle in
Their
arms.
own doing. Yeah. Yeah.
And we all
Yeah.
know individuals. I know one very personal connection that I have
Gotcha.
that thankfully is still alive today.
Awesome.
That he is no longer putting that needle in his arm.
Good.
But anyways, thankfully he is still alive today. Could he have ended up on the streets as homeless? For sure.
Yeah.
And so you have that element of homeless. And then you have that element of homeless who are able-bodied and able-minded.
Yes.
That we all know that just choose to be there.
Yep.
Because they have a hard time following the rules. And I was mentioning to the small business owner downtown Jackson, who I was speaking with, that sometimes you go down a side street, and I'm not going to say what street,
Mhm.
but in the area of the city that has mostly rentals, and you see
Yep.
all this furniture piled out in
Yep.
front by the curb. You know who had to put that furniture out there was the landlord.
Yep.
And why did that landlord have to put that furniture out there? Well, because it's a law.
Mhm.
The person that's the most times evicted tenant,
Yep.
that's their possessions, that's
Yep.
their personal belongings. And yeah, you just can't pitch it.
Yep.
You got to put it out there and give them a certain amount of time to come pick it up.
Mhm.
We can't call the landlord a big bully, the bad guy for doing something like that. Those individuals were evicted for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those individuals are the ones who are setting up encampments in downtown Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's on that big planter in front of the library,
Mm-hmm.
or now you see this encampment at Bucky Harris Park
Yeah.
at the mural
Mm-hmm.
right up there in the stage area.
Yeah.
And they, first of all, the United States Supreme Court ruled that they don't have a right to sleep or to have set up encampments on public property.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Now it's up to the city. As Jackson's next mayor, I will ask the city council, I will propose to the city council to pass an ordinance making it illegal. You got to have that ordinance
Mm-hmm.
making it illegal for the homeless to set up an encampment or to sleep on public property.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be done. We don't have that right now.
Yep.
The only ordinances that they passed a few years back, and I didn't agree with it then, was that homeless person they approach you. That's their First Amendment right to
Mhm.
ask for $1.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether you want to give them $1 or not, and I have.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyways,
Yep.
they just can't get aggressive with it.
Yep.
And that's against the city ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have a right to ask.
Gotcha.
So anyways, but they don't have a right to sleep or to set up an encampment
Mhm.
downtown. And that has to change because, like I said, these business owners down there
Mhm.
they deal with it every day.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have to.
Well, and it might be a hot take even from me. You don't have to camp, like you just said, in the middle of downtown anyways. Like there's other places. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to live, but
What other places though are on the bus
Well,
route?
I'm just
and
saying
buy
sleeping right in
food
front of
and
the
shelter
library.
and
Well, I get that, but
free resources. So if there was more centralized resources that were not in the heart of downtown,
Yeah.
I feel like there would be other places
oh, for sure.
that unhoused people could go.
I get that. But,
And these unhoused, homeless, yes, there's a multitude of local, county,
Mhm.
state, government agencies that are there.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be there, and they need to be more on the front line than
Mhm.
they are now. And not to mention the nonprofits.
Yeah.
That we pay our tax dollars to, that are supposed to go towards.
They're all
Yeah.
centralized in downtown though. DHS right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
The shelter right
it's like
there.
a kicker.
Everything is centralized to downtown.
Mhm.
So that's why it's like the hub because people don't have transportation or
Well, I
they
get
can't
that.
access the
The
resources.
sleeping on the
because
street,
a
man.
great, I mean,
I'm just saying, even if I was homeless, we didn't sleep on the street. We slept in a tent in the woods.
And again, I'm asked all the time, Wilson, so what's your idea? What's your solution?
Mhm.
Well, it's not a solution,
Yeah.
but like you
I
mentioned
liked
before,
it. I liked it.
I thought, you know what, that armory property is very large,
Yes, it is.
and our state representatives and our state senator, they go and they get grant money for this and that. Okay, that's all. I don't agree with all that grant money, for some of the purposes that they're getting it for. But anyways,
Mhm.
if they can do that, then get some grant money again.
Yeah.
Erect a couple pole barns.
Yeah.
It's going to cost some state tax dollars. Erect some pole barns. Put them in the armory property.
Yep.
What do we have in the armory property right now? Grow Jackson.
Yep.
Jacob Incensio
Mhm.
and his Grow Jackson.
Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, there's plenty of room there.
Yep.
And what can those individuals who may be placed in one of those pole barns, what can they do? Able-bodied, able-minded
Mhm.
individuals,
Grow Jackson.
they can grow their own food. And with the assistance of Grow Jackson,
I like that.
who for the most part is funded by
Yeah.
our tax
And
dollars.
it's right by the bus stop. Everything's a go. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. I like that a lot, John. Really, I do.
And-
I like it. No, I do, man. No, I was excited to talk about that because I hear a lot of the homeless problem. You're the first one that's given a solution. So maybe if it works or not, that's besides the point. You at least had one.
And
That's,
where could it spawn from there? Well, we don't know, but
Mhm.
I threw it out there.
Yeah.
Are there plenty of other empty buildings throughout the city that could possibly house them? Well, there may be,
Mhm.
but that would be at city expense. No, City Hall I'm sorry, should not have gotten into the homeless business like they did back when Daniel Mahoney took the oath of office in 21, because homelessness was a primary objective for him.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite work out. I don't think the way that he had planned it to.
So either.
Instead, it's only getting worse. So we had to come up with something.
It's bridging the gap between the unhoused community and politics.
Just helping. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I just found it very unique. You came up with a solution, not a fuck these guys.
Well,
Because a lot of people just say fuck these
Business
guys.
implies it makes money, and if it's not gone about property, there's not going to be a return investment.
Well, that's the problem though, is it is about money. All of it boils down to money, no matter what. It sucks, but that's what all of it is.
And right now, I mean, that's a social issue. Homelessness is a social issue. And so many of our tax dollars are now having to be diverted to social issues and away from what I consider an essential service, and that's our streets.
Yeah, but without the people, there's no city. So
Yeah. Dude, this has been great, John.
sorry.
All right. There, you're perfectly fine.
Well, this
I want to
is-
work on your boat.
Yeah. This has been phenomenal, John. Our wrap-up questions are the same for every single guest.
Okay.
What is your definition of success?
Success.
Mhm.
Well, my definition of success is to plant my feet on the ground every morning when I open my eyes and I'm able to get out of bed.
Fair enough.
First of all, I thank the good Lord for that every morning. And even when I go to bed, thank you, Jesus.
Yes, sir.
And so my idea of success is just how I feel
Mhm.
internally and physically,
Yes, sir.
mentally and physically.
Mhm.
I can't, tell anyone else what their idea or how they should believe what success may be.
Mhm.
But my success is personal,
Yeah.
and it's my inner being.
Mhm.
I don't speak too much on my inner being.
Mhm.
And because again, I don't wear everything on my shirt sleeve and throw
Yeah.
it out there.
Yeah.
And I sometimes do, but I choose not to. But my idea of success again is how I feel, both emotionally and physically.
Yes, sir.
And like you said earlier, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah,
By nature, I'm a happy guy.
I like that.
And notice all these wrinkles.
Smiling all
Wrinkles
the time.
only are where the smiles have been.
I like that. Katie, your wrap-up questions?
Yep. If you had one word to describe your entire journey from where you started to where you will end up, what would it be? It has to be a real word, and it cannot be like hyphenated or anything like that.
End up as far as life.
Yeah, where you think you are going to end up, like what your end goal is, or whatever the end means to you.
The end means to me is when I'm taken from this earth.
Okay.
Okay. And hopefully when I do close my eyes for the last time and it's not in a tragic situation, because I worked on an ambulance. I don't want to get into bad stuff, but those who died tragically, they have that face, or they have the look of tragic on their face. Those who die in a not so tragic fashion, or just die of old age, or take that last breath if you have cancer and you're 35 years old, but you feel like, you know what, I'm on to my next venture in life. That is what I feel would be my most happy moment is when I do it, the good Lord takes me and I know I did what I'm not going to say I've had this word from God come down and say, Wilson, you need to be mayor. I've heard that too many times from politicians.
Yeah.
And first of all, I'm not a politician, because a politician is elected. I haven't been elected.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, nobody from above has said, Wilson, you need to be a leader. You need to run for mayor, or for whatever other elected position. No, that comes from right here, and right here, and the fire in the belly. Got fire in the belly and a big old heart.
Yes, sir.
And between the two, going back to My last word, I guess that wasn't
Well,
just one
word to describe everything. And it has to be one word.
One word.
To describe the whole journey, one word.
Thankfulness.
Right on. Right on.
If you now met younger you, would you get along with him, and vice versa? Would he get along with you?
Oh, sure. Because the old Johnny is pretty much the same as the young Johnny.
I'd have loved to met younger you then, dude.
I just go to bed earlier now.
I love it.
And I get up earlier now.
Oh man, thank you for coming on, John. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'll get this primed, and then we sign our table after we cut the cameras.
Sure,
All right,
it'd be an
well,
honor.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right.